Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Okay, in this lesson, we're going to do three things. Number one, we're going to learn how to find levels if they disappear from an elevational view. Now elevational could be an elevation, it could be sectional as well. Okay, and this is something that happens with Revit. Okay, we're going to rename a level so that it makes sense to us, and we're going to adjust the level so it more closely aligns with regulatory requirements. Okay, so there's a few little things here. Should be able to complete them all within about 10 minutes. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go to level 1. Okay, so this is our upper floor plan of our project. Okay, and what I'm going to do is click on this section here to highlight what's happening at this point here, which is the high point. So remember, 5,500 there, okay, so that's high, versus 4,800 down here, so there's 700 millimeter difference from there to there, and it's still higher than the 5,000 here, and higher than this one here. Okay, so this is our high point. Okay, so this is where I want my slab floor to sit without having to cut into anything at this stage. Okay, so to go and have a look at my section view, just double click on the arrowhead there. Okay, and this brings us to the first problem. Okay, I can't see in this view, okay, any of the levels, so I can't adjust them or rename them if I can't see them. Right. So I can see them if I say go to my east elevation. Okay, so there it is there, level 1 and level 0. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to make sure that I can see level 1 in this section and in fact all sections. Okay, and it's a fairly easy trick, although you would never think to do it. Right, so number 1, highlight over the level that you need to view, right click, maximize 3D extents. Okay, you get all these options here, but this is the one we want, maximize 3D extents. Okay? And you'll see there that the level now jumps past the whatever has been modeled in 3D. Okay? I'll repeat that for level 0. Right, so again, hover, right click, maximize 3D extents and the commands that are available. And you'll see that that level extends. Okay? So that's an elevational view. If I now go back to my section view, I can see those levels again. So that's really handy. This happens a lot in Revit. You can create new levels. They may not be visible initially. Once you find them in one view, maximize the 3D extents and you'll be able to see them everywhere. Right. So that's part 1 of the lesson. Part 2 is to rename this level. Okay, so just click on the level head itself and click on the name. Get a little text box pop up, which means we can then relabel it. Okay, so I'm going to call it ground floor, and I'm going to say yes when Revit asks me, would you like to rename corresponding views? Yes, I would, because I wanted to update in my project browser here. So if I go yes, ground floor is now above level 0, which makes sense. It's higher. That's what I want. All right. So that solves problem or requirement number 2. We now have a ground floor plan or level, and we can see it wherever we like. The last part is to get this level sitting at an appropriate height above natural ground, which is this little point in here. Okay, this is where the section intersects our natural ground. Okay, I want to basically make sure that my floor there, okay, the top of the floor, wherever we put it, is at least 150 millimeters above that point there, okay? And that is as per this lesson here, slab on ground, worked out that because it's a higher rainfall area, etc., okay, we need to be 150 millimeters above the ground, okay? That is what we call deemed to satisfy. If you follow that, you're following the building code. So there's a range of different ways to do it, but I'm going to use a detail line. Actually, no, I'll use a reference plane. So architecture, because we know how to do reference planes. So I'm going to go architecture, reference plane. I'll save the project because we're now starting to do some important stuff. And I'm not going to be able to intersect this exactly, okay? But if I can get that pretty close there, okay, left click, and I'm just going to draw my reference plane out a little bit there. I don't need anything else. All I need is a horizontal reference. Okay. So now to move this, if I click on the ground floor level, I now have a temporary dimension that references the reference plane and is not trying to find the level 0 all the way down there. That was the trick I was trying to get to. Okay, so temporary dimensions generally will look for horizontal or parallel references. Yeah. So we will see here that this ground floor is 1200 millimeters above natural ground. So that's substantially more than the minimum 150 that we need. Okay? So all I need to do here is click on the temporary dimension. Okay, I'll get my numbers up there and change the value. So I'm going to change that to 150 and enter. Okay, now the ground floor level has dropped down and it is now 100, and if I click it again, it is now 150 millimeters above this natural ground level here. Okay, that's all we needed to do. Okay, so what we've now done is we've reduced that ground floor level to, one will hope, a more practical height that we're going to be able to design with later on. Okay, or certainly in the next lesson. Okay, so anyway, that's all we need to cover in this lesson. Okay, we figured out how to find levels that might be missing or are missing from a view. Okay, so right click, maximize 3D extents, there's that little trick there. If I want to rename a level, just click on the name twice. You can rename it and always say yes when you want to rename your corresponding views. And we also figured out how to use a parallel reference. Okay, and in this case we used a reference plane. Okay, to adjust, to get a pretty exact adjustment of a level to another point. Okay, so a few little things in there for you to play and practice with. Until the next lesson, I'll see you later.